it seems like there are quite a few people out there in the world who now state that we have overpaid for Woltemade. Let's have a look. Hi everybody and welcome back to the Toon Review. My name's Paul. This is your latest Newcastle United news. Thank you once again for tuning in. And that's right, in the intro, some people actually believe that we have overpaid for Nick Woltemade, despite him not even kicking a football yet for Newcastle United. And I find this absolutely astounding, guys. I really do. You know, there's even some, if you can claim them to be, Newcastle United supporters online who think the same. That because they've seen him play 2 games for Germany, they're writing him off already as if he's not good enough for Newcastle United. This is balmy. Absolutely balmy. Because me as a fan, I'm not prepared to watch 2 international games and think, oh God, he's not good enough. Because look, we don't know where Eddie's going to play him for a start. Is he going to play him as an out-and-out striker? Or is he going to sit him behind Wissa and play Wissa as the out-and-out striker? Because we know that Woltemade has various abilities, not necessarily as a striker. And a lot of people said this when we signed him. Because if you look at the way he plays the game, he's not necessarily an out-and-out striker. Can he do a job there? Absolutely. But he's not the only one that's an out-and-out striker. And this is what we've been talking about when we say that Eddie now has quite a few options as to what he does with Woltemade and Wissa, and does he play them together? That we will find out in due course. But I think this has all been generated basically by the grumpiness that is the Bayern Munich chairman, Uli Hoeness, or however you want to pronounce it. He's a very bitter man about what happened with Woltemade, clearly, and has stated that in public numerous times. He went on to say, we're very satisfied at FC Bayern. We are the real winners of the summer transfer window. We have a strong team and didn't need to strengthen it much. Well, okay, Uli. So why did you want Florian Wirtz and why did you want Woltemade? Because they're 2 very big signings if you didn't think you needed to strengthen much, matey. I think it's called sour grapes that you missed out on both players, because obviously Florian Wirtz went to Liverpool for around £116 million. You tried to get him, but again, you weren't prepared to meet the needs of the selling club. And the same has happened again with Stuttgart. You weren't prepared to meet their valuation of Woltemade, and they sold him to Newcastle. Newcastle came a-swooping and signed him. And then your bitterness turns around and thinks, oh yeah, you've way overpaid for him. And of course, that's then generated a snowball effect on social media saying that he's not good enough because they've watched him for 2 games for Germany and made a decision on him straight away, despite the fact that he's in the German team for a reason, because he's good enough. But let's put that one aside for a second, because he goes on to say, we have a very strong team and didn't need to strengthen it much. Of course, we would have liked to have had Florian Wirtz, but we'd never have bought him for 150 million or 130 million, whatever they were quoted. It says 150 million euros, 130 million pounds. Yet Liverpool got him for 116. So that wasn't the case at all. You're talking bullshit straight away, because I'm sure if Bayern had offered that, they would have sold him to Bayern. We know that the German clubs like to sell to each other, especially when Bayern Munich come calling. We've seen it many, many times in the past where Bayern have come calling and German players will sign for them. He also says, we offered 55 million euros for Nick Woltemade, while Stuttgart wanted 75 million euros. In the end, he went to Newcastle for 90 million euros. What Newcastle are doing has nothing to do with football. It's like Monopoly these days. Well, I'm sorry, but that is an absolutely diabolical thing to say, just because you missed out on a player. It's clear, you know, you weren't prepared, or Bayern Munich weren't prepared to go to the valuation of Stuttgart. That's fair. You've even admitted that in your little statement there. But to say Newcastle, what we're doing is Monopoly, when you look at the amount of money that other clubs have spent this summer, you know, why take a dig at Newcastle United like that? And isn't that just typical? Because I'm sure, you know, he doesn't mention the money that Liverpool paid for Isak or for Florian Wirtz or for Ekitike. He doesn't mention that. He doesn't mention the amount of money that other clubs in Europe have spent this summer. Yet somehow, what we're doing is a game of Monopoly and nothing to do with football. And this is just typical, isn't it? It's typical of what we've seen all summer about different people coming back and saying things against Newcastle United when other clubs have done pretty much more than what we have. And I will never understand this attitude towards Newcastle United, even now from European clubs. If we think that Woltemade is worth 90 million euros and we've gone and paid it, then there's a reason for that. Clearly, Eddie and Newcastle United were prepared to pay that money. Now, all this bullshit that's going on online at the minute, talking about Woltemade and saying Newcastle have overpaid, he's not the player that they think he is. You know, just look at what he's done already and why he's in the German national side. I mean, Germany, listen, they're having a bit of a transition period by all accounts, looking from the outside in at some of their results. But dear God, you know, he was played up front for Germany. And from what I saw last night, he was starved of service. He did get an assist, but not playing to his strengths was an understatement last night for Germany. Right? Now, again, talk about whether Eddie Howe is going to use him as an out-and-out striker. Certainly, he's a target man. There's no doubt about that. He will give options to our wingers and our midfielders. Certainly from set pieces, from corners, etc. I expect us to be so much better on set pieces with Woltemade in the side. He's big, he's strong. But it's not just that. He's excellent with his feet. In fact, he's fantastic with his feet. So, as I was saying earlier, it gives Eddie a lot of opportunities to try something different to the normal 4-3-3. Now, Chris from Evermore did a brilliant video this morning. I'd highly recommend you go and watch that, about the options that Eddie Howe has with his new signings. And we're going to take a more in-depth look at that on Thursday night. Probably Wednesday night on the live show. Stato's going to do some stuff with the signings and see where or how we integrate them into the team. So that's to look forward to. But go and watch Chris's video as well, because it's really good. And sort of gives you an idea of the options that Eddie Howe has. And he's clearly got them. Because everybody's just writing Woltemade off. And Sunderland fans, I mean, I don't know how you dare, given the history you've had recently, keep your gob shut until you know where you're going to finish in the league. Because you've had a decent start, but it could all just crumble away from you. And it normally does, to be fair. But look, Woltemade for me is a brilliant signing. I said that on deadline day. I'll say it again. I think he's a brilliant signing. Wissa is a fantastic signing. And it gives options to Eddie Howe. We could be seeing something very different from Eddie this season instead of the usual 4-3-3. He has options now to go like 4-4-1-1 or 4-4-2 or different tactics like that. Now at the hands of Eddie Howe. He can do things because he's got the players to utilise those tactics. So, listen, Mr. Grumpy at Bayern Munich can twist all he wants. But please, Newcastle fans, let's not write off somebody that's never kicked a bloody ball for us yet. You know, let's not join in with other clubs and other pundits saying, oh, this guy's overrated. Because it's a load of shit. And again, it's just a pop at Newcastle United. That's all it is. He's never kicked a ball yet in a black and white shirt. So don't get on this bandwagon with these other muppets trying to write this player off, because he could be an absolute legend for us and he deserves our full backing. He could be the next big thing at Newcastle United. He really can. So let's give him all the support, starting from Saturday if he's in the team. But let's not bow down to this absolute bullshit that this Bayern Munich chairman has kicked off and saying. But there you go. If you have enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up, guys. And of course, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. It's completely free of charge. All we ask is that you hit that notification bell so you never miss any uploads or live shows from the Toon Review. If you're watching this late on Monday afternoon, we are back tonight at 7 o'clock where we're talking about contracts. Who's out of contract at the end of the season? What does it mean for Newcastle? Do they renew? Do they look to sell them for a bit of money in January? We'll take a look at all of that. So join us live from 7 o'clock tonight. But in the meantime, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of these comments about Woltemade. I will speak to you very soon. Take care.